Taking care of a family member with a severe neurologic condition can be difficult. It can be exhausting, frustrating, and overwhelming. It can strain other family relationships. I'm Dr. Judy Gooch, and I'm here today to talk about easing caregiver burden. I see many people with severe neurologic conditions in my practice as a physical medicine and rehabilitation physician. I watch the demanding care that family members give every day. The most common thing I hear is, "I am not doing enough." Often people do not want to get help from others. They feel that it's totally their responsibility to care for their family member. They don't want to burden other people. A person with a neurologic condition can be irritable and demanding. This is difficult for the family to manage. Today, I have several families who for many years have cared for their loved ones with severe neurologic conditions. They have much insight into how to manage this difficult yet rewarding endeavor. So you have a child with a significant disability, and that can be difficult. Being a caregiver can be difficult. What suggestions do you have for other people who are caregivers or who have kids with disabilities?
Well, you'll find that you go to a lot of doctors, and all the doctors will give you different things to do with your child or your family member. And you could spend 24 hours a day doing all those things, but it's not practical. So take all the things they tell you and find the ones that can functionally go into your life and your lifestyle and do what works for your family. And then just let the rest go and don't worry about it and do your best.
So Jonah is now 23 years old.
And a half. 23 and a half.
23 and a half.
Yeah.
What things can you tell other families or caregivers about how to make life easier when you have a family member with a neurologic condition?
Well, what's really worked well for us is the two of us working together with Jonah. Just teamwork all along. So we take turns with therapies, stretching routine.
Trying to give each other a break.
Yeah.
So we're a little bit, but sometimes we try to find time together, but at the same time we know that it's where we're 24 hours caregivers, that it's oftentimes work, so we augment one another. So she gets time to go out.
Yep.
Or I'll go jogging, do my thing.
I get out hiking.
Shopping,
Hiking is important. So yeah.
But he was brought to us with this condition at birth, so
Yeah.
we kind of were able to grow with it, as well as even transitioning or lifting him.
Yeah.
I continue to keep up with him and doing that kind of thing. So, but we found that he gives us as much or more than we give him, and that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. What about
everything we
outdoor
put into it,
exercise? Outdoor
we get a return on
activities with Jonah too through the years.
Yeah.
Yeah. He hiked on his daddy's back till he was about 70 pounds. So that's important too. Getting out and
come down
enjoying.
the trail, and I go, "How old's your son?" "He's 14, and he's still on my back." I go, "Well," but he's pretty packable because he's a small stature boy. So.
Yep. Yeah, we love the outdoors, so it was important to us to keep doing it as a family.
Right, and he's a bear fan.
But we modified all his equipment through the years, so he's able to keep going with us, and that was important too.
Yeah, constant modification for your life and for his needs as well.
Yeah.
So.
It's been fun, right, son?
And he gets a hole-in-one in the golf game, huh?
One of the things I would suggest is that you recognize that you can't do everything for your loved one who has special needs. Recognize early on that you will become a poor caregiver if you try and do everything all the time. Figure out who your support system is, whether it's family, community centers, church, and enlist their aid so that you get a break from time to time. Sharpen the saw, whatever you want to call it. You need a break to be the best caregiver for your loved one.
Well, our big thing is sometimes we like to get away, and Stuart can't do some of the things we can, and we can't care for him away from home. And we recently learned that at the developmental center, if you have DSPD respite, they can go stay there overnight. And so we were able to leave him there for 10 days while we went on a trip to Oregon. And I think he had a pretty good time there. Did you have a good time there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to go swimming.
Yeah, they have a nice swimming pool there. So he was pretty happy, and we were very happy.
Probably one of the greatest things in my experience with my son would be to pass off the care to other family members, husbands, wives, grandparents, school, the learning center. Try not to take it on all yourself. And by sharing the responsibility, especially with family members, it will be better for you, and it'll be better for your child, and it'll be better for your other children or your husband to be involved in the care. I tended to do everything myself, all appointments, everything that involved price I took on, and that resulted in my husband and my other child feeling very jealous and feeling pushed away by the needs of price. So in hindsight, I wish I would have passed him off onto my husband and gone out and rode my horse or gone shopping or taken my other little one skiing, or just making his care a total family involvement instead of taking on the burden just myself.
So this is Marianne Furness, and Marianne had an auto accident when she was 22 years old. She's 14 years post-injury. What happened to...
I was in a car with my favorite
So Marianne and her cousin were hit by a diesel, and Marianne sustained a traumatic brain injury, in which her brain hit the inside of her skull, and she has a big bruise right here on the right side of her brain. She was in the hospital for a year, and she was in a coma for about 7 months before she fully emerged. In our situation with Marianne, when she emerged, she did have her memory and her intellect and her sweet personality. Then we got looking at caregivers and how people can burn out being a caregiver and what causes people to burn out to be a caregiver. And so for that year, even though we weren't being the 24/7 caregiver, it was still difficult for all of us to adjust to the new life that we have. We all had to come to the realization that this is a new life and this is our life, and we could choose to accept it or not to accept it, and that's a personal thing. I'm not saying some can't. But for us, here's some things that we did. One is we take Marianne everywhere that we can. We never use an excuse to not do something because of Marianne, because we have been able to adapt. We have a lot of care for her. We have a sister and a brother who help with her, and her father. And so we do have a lot of help with her. The other thing is we ask Marianne what she would like to do. And we do things that she likes to do and that we enjoy doing. So we all have a buy-in in doing those things that we like to do. But the other thing with caregivers is you have to have time for you. You have to make sure that you have good nutrition and that you also have a break. And so embrace something that you like. For me, I have a hobby with sewing, and when I get stressed out, that's my therapy, is to do something that I like. But for the most part, we do everything with Marianne as well. She likes to go out to lunch, and we like to go out to lunch. She likes to go to movies. We like that too. We've even taken her on vacations. But the other thing is that you have to realize that your life has changed. And if you can embrace the change, you can be happier with being a caregiver. If you have a patient who has personalities changed and they're angry and they're mean and they're not very nice about life, and that happens really often, then maybe you tap into the things they like. And if you can embrace those things that they enjoy, then you have a happier patient as well.